When it comes to driving in its purest form, there's very few cars that can compete with the simplicity and connection you get from a Mazda MX-5 Miata. It's the best-selling convertible sports car of all time, and it's just as happy on the racetrack as it is on the public streets. Since the release of the first-generation Miata some 30 years ago, the basic formula has been the same, making this car a true living legend. So in today's video, we're gonna go for a drive with the 2021 Mazda MX-5 Miata and see what it has to offer. We want to give a huge shout out to Mazda of Gastonia for letting us spend some time with this 2021 Mazda MX-5 Miata. Mazda of Gastonia has a beautiful showroom, great staff, and an excellent selection of new and used vehicles. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, be sure to check out the folks at Mazda of Gastonia. In 1989, when the original MX-5 Miata made its debut for the 1990 model year, it was an instant success because, typical of a roadster, it was a joy to drive and affordable. But it also had Japanese reliability. Since that time, owners have used their MX-5s as daily drivers, weekend backroad joy machines, and even to win racing championships. 26 years after the original, in 2016, the MX-5 Miata entered its fourth generation, and Mazda said the fourth generation car drew inspiration from MX-5s that came before it. The 2019 model year saw an increase in power from 155 horses to 181, all while at 2,339 pounds, still being less than 200 pounds heavier than the original 1990 MX-5. It's a testament to Mazda's commitment to making sure the MX-5 Miata remains the world's go-to roadster. Fast forward to 2021, and Mazda keeps improving the MX-5 without disturbing its fundamentals. So let's dive in and take a look. A soft top and hard top are available. Soft tops come in 3 trims: Sport, Club, and Grand Touring. The RF hard top has 2 trims: Club and Grand Touring. The one we have here is a 2021 Mazda MX-5 Miata RF Grand Touring with a 6-speed manual transmission, painted in polymetal gray. For 2021, the ND2 MX-5, as enthusiasts would call it, hasn't changed much in design since 2016. It uses Mazda's Kodo sole design, which includes a long hood and short overhangs. Mazda does a great job of blending smooth muscular shapes with aggressive straight lines. The hood has bulges at each corner that give the car an athletic charging forward look while sitting still. They merge into the headlights. The headlights themselves are narrow with LED and halogen bulbs. Grand Touring models get adaptive front lighting with auto on-off headlights. The lighting is understated but provides an aggressiveness to the otherwise curvy lines. Under the Mazda symbol is a wide opening for cooling with some gloss black trimming up top. On each side of the bumper are LED daytime running lights. The Grand Touring trim has side valances at each corner. Sport trims have a full air dam that runs the entire length of the bumper. From the side, you can get a good look at the short overhangs. The wheels are pushed nearly as far as they can go to each corner of the car. The RF with its retractable roof gives the MX-5 a coupe look while still allowing you to enjoy top-down driving. The wheels are 17-inch aluminum alloys that have a dark silver finish. If you opt for the club trim, the wheels get a black finish. Behind each of the windows is a gloss black panel that looks to be a tinted window. It's a clever addition that helps add proportion to the MX-5 RF's design. In the rear, the MX-5 has a stubby tail that includes LED and halogen lighting. On the lower part of the bumper are the reverse lights. If you opt for the club trim, you'll also get a thin black rear lip spoiler. Starting in 2019, all MX-5s come standard with the rear view backup camera molded into the rear bumper. A single exhaust with dual tips exits on the passenger side. The overall looks of the 2021 MX-5 Miata are instantly recognizable as a Miata. Although the design is very modern in its approach, Mazda has done an excellent job keeping with the evolutionary history of the Miata. We love the RF hardtop, but the traditional styling of the MX-5 Miata is the soft-top version. It offers undeniable roadster proportions. Getting into the MX-5 Miata can be done using the key you see here. You can also press the button on the door handle. Alright, hopping into the 2021 Mazda MX-5 Miata, and obviously this is the RF edition with the retractable hardtop. Being a driving-focused car, everything is really well laid out and where you would expect it to be. The build quality is really good, and I love the way that Mazda includes this body color paneling here on the doors. And with this being a small car, there's always the question of whether or not there's enough headroom as well as legroom. So I will give you a look at what the headroom is like when the roof is closed. Okay, so now with the roof closed, you can see I still have a ton of headroom, and of course legroom is good for me. So for most people, this should be a car that you can fit in with no problem. Now, you start to get up to 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", you're probably gonna run into a few problems trying to get in and out of this vehicle, but for average sized people, this has more than enough room for you to fit in. The interior of the MX-5 Miata is a perfect example of straightforward functionality. As the focus of the MX-5 Miata is primarily on driving, Mazda does an excellent job of not adding a lot of distracting features. The center dash has a 7-inch color touchscreen, Grand Touring trims get navigation, and new for 2021, there's wireless Apple CarPlay. Wired Android Auto is also available. Below the touchscreen are the automatic climate controls. Further down are controls for the heated seats and connectivity options that include auxiliary and USB ports. Grand Touring trims get leather-lined seats. The seats offer good lateral support that helps keep you in place during sporty driving. As this is a roadster, the headrests come fitted with speakers, so you're able to better hear the stereo while driving. The 9-speaker Bose audio system overall does a great job of filling the snug interior with sound. The round shifter for the 6-speed manual transmission offers excellent grip and one of the most enjoyable shifting experiences you can find in any vehicle on the market. On the lower part of the center console are buttons to control audio and media. The knobs have aluminum accenting and a premium feel. Further back are cup holders and a small space for storage. The cup holders can be moved throughout the Miata if necessary. The steering wheel is on the thinner side, but offers good grip and comes wrapped in stitched leather. On each side of the wheel are typical controls for audio and media and cruise control functions. The dash is clean and well laid out, with a large analog tack front and center, and a digital gauge on the left that provides the driver with more information. Overall, the interior of the MX-5 does a lot with its limited space. The materials and the ergonomics are pretty good, but most importantly, the setup for driving is spot on. Getting into the trunk can be done using the key. There is also a button on the lower part of the bumper. For such a small car that is also a convertible, the MX-5 has a surprising amount of trunk space. Sure, you won't be carrying the family's luggage on long trips anywhere, but for a quick stop at the market to grab a few items, the trunk offers more than enough space. In the trunk, you will also find the car's manual and a fix-a-flat kit. Obviously, with this car being a convertible, we have to talk about letting the top down. There's a switch in the lower part of the dash that lowers and raises the roof. It's reasonably quick at about 13 seconds, and even shows a cool graphic in the gauge cluster to let you know your progress. When the roof is down, the RF has an opening up top. and in the rear where there's usually a glass window. A wind deflector that we left at the dealership fits into this space. Mazda designed the MX-5 RF well. I think it looks just as attractive with the top up as it does with the top down. The MX-5 has a push button start. Let's press the button and start it up. The MX-5 Miata is powered by a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder that makes 181 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. Power runs through the rear wheels via a 6-speed manual or an optional 6-speed automatic. Starting in 2020, all Grand Touring cars equipped with the manual transmission also get a limited slip differential, Bilstein dampers, a front shock tower brace, and a sport-tuned suspension. Originally, these features were exclusive to the manual club trim. It's nice to have the sportier chassis while not giving up the Grand Touring package's luxury features. Alright, let's go for a drive with the 2021 Mazda MX-5 Miata RF. Oh yeah. I mean, everything about this car is so simple in the way that it drives. It has tons of front end grip. And it rotates really well. And I think that's a testament to the 50-50 weight distribution that Mazda gives this car. Getting in and driving the MX-5 Miata is very simple to do. The MX-5 offers a lot of driving pleasure without being intimidating, even if you push it close to the limit. With the 50-50 weight distribution that has been part of the car's formula since its inception, the balance is absolutely perfect, and you can feel precisely when and where the car starts to rotate. The addition of the limited slip differential is a welcomed addition when powering out of corners. A common complaint we hear about the MX-5 Miata is that it's underpowered. And a lot of people always talk about how this car needs more power, a turbocharger, or whatever. And sure, Mazda gave this car more power a couple of years ago and now makes 181 horsepower over the 155 or so that it used to make. But I just don't think that a turbocharger would really suit the dynamic of this car. This is a rev it out, enjoy all the RPM band type of vehicle and not, a boosted, let's go really fast kind of car. I think the power is nearly perfect. If more power is added, I don't think it should come from a turbocharger. Turbocharged engines have a unique characteristic that simply doesn't fit the nimble and spirited nature of the Miata. I am aware that Mazda has turbocharged the Miata in the past with the Mazda Speed MX-5 in the mid-2000s. I like to keep in mind that that car still made less power than this one with the naturally aspirated power plant. I think Mazda made the correct sort of changes in 2019 with this upgraded engine. Included in those changes was raising the red line to 7,500 RPM. High revving horsepower suits this car well. The 181 horsepower comes in at 7,000 RPM right before the red line. That means you can rev out the engine and genuinely enjoy all areas of the power band. There's no overwhelming amount of low-end torque causing unnecessary wheel spin. The torque that is available comes on early, allowing for solid pulls to the red line, shift gear, and repeat. That's part of the joy of driving this car, usable power that rewards your efforts. And then of course, the real beauty of this car is how it takes turns. It's so well planted, and you can certainly feel what the front end is doing. It's one of the best front ends in the industry. The steering is pretty light. The steering isn't that heavy, but it's so direct, and it gives you so much feedback that you always know what the front tires are doing. There is a slight amount of initial body roll, then the chassis plants itself, and it's all balance and predictability after that. With the wind in your face, few other cars on the market, if any, can give you this type of pure driving experience. And that's what you want from a driver's car. You don't want the numbness that you can get with some of the more modern technologies that make cars smoother, but they're less connected. And this is a very well connected vehicle, and that's why people buy these, and that's why these have been so successful for so long, because they're just simply a joy to drive. The ride is a bit bumpy with the stiffer suspension, and there are shakes and vibrations. A great example of that is with the gear knob. It changes its vibrations and motions depending on what you do with the gas pedal. It's what I call feedback that come with the best driving cars. Oh yeah, see, this is why you buy this car. Such a fun car. The MX-5 Miata lets you know what's going on through feelings, and in that regard, you're completely connected to the car when you drive it. It's what Mazda calls Jinba Itai, meaning rider and horse as one body. In reference to the automobile, it means driver becoming one with the car. After 4 generations, it has remained Mazda's philosophy when developing this latest generation MX-5. With lightweight, unparalleled nimbleness, and smile-inducing driving characteristics, the MX-5 is the quintessential driver's car. We don't see many negatives with this car, as most of them would be associated with what this car inherently is. Those would be the small size and stiff ride. 2 things that help this car be precisely what we want it to be. Otherwise, we won't hesitate to say this car is nearly perfect in achieving its goals. With over 1 million Miatas sold, this car has been Guinness certified as the best-selling 2-seat sports car on several occasions. Drive the MX-5 on the back road and you'll clearly see why. So if you're in the market for a small, affordable, and fun roadster, then the 2021 Mazda MX-5 Miata should be at the top of your list of vehicles to check out. Thanks again to Mazda of Gastonia, and thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. You can also find us on Instagram at rideXdrive.